The first thing you need to understand is this: I didn't know it was wrong. Not at first. When you grow up on a thin mattress that smells like engine oil and damp cardboard, when your lullabies are the ticking of a cooling car engine and the scratching of rats behind drywall, you don't question it. You think, this is just how life is. My name is Reachel, and for 22 years, I slept in a garage. Not a cute, converted studio. Not one of those Pinterest renovations with fairy lights and cozy rugs. I mean a real garage, concrete floor so cold it burned in winter, metal door that screamed like it was dying every time it opened, and a single flickering bulb that buzzed like it hated being alive. "Don't come inside unless I tell you," my mother would say. Her voice was always sharp, like broken glass wrapped in velvet. Calm on the outside, but it cut deep. I used to stand at the door sometimes, my small fingers curled around the edge, watching the warm yellow light spill from the house into the darkness where I stood. Inside there was laughter. Inside there was my brother, Daniel. Golden boy. Clean clothes. Hot meals. A bed with actual sheets. I remember the smell of his room once. Vanilla candles and fresh laundry. I wasn't supposed to go in there, but I did. Just once. My mother caught me. "What are you doing in here?" she snapped. I just wanted to see. Before I could finish, her hand cracked across my face. The taste of iron flooded my mouth. "You don't belong in this house," she said coldly. "You should be grateful I let you stay at all." Grateful. That word echoed in my skull for years. I ate leftovers. Cold. Sometimes moldy. She'd leave a plate by the garage door like she was feeding a stray animal. No hugs. No birthdays. No "I love you." Just survival. And silence. But the thing about silence is that it makes you listen. I learned every sound in that house. The rhythm of footsteps. The creak of the stairs. The tone of my mother's voice when she was lying. And she lied a lot. "Your father abandoned us," she told me when I was 10. I remember asking, "Why didn't he take me?" She paused. Just for a second. But I noticed. "Because he didn't want you." That should have broken me. Instead, it planted something. A splinter. Small. Painful. Impossible to ignore. Years passed. I got older. Stronger. Quieter. I started working at 16, saving every rupee I could. Not because I had a plan, but because something inside me whispered, "This isn't right." The night everything changed, it was raining. Not a gentle rain. A violent one. The kind that drums against the roof like it's trying to break in. Water leaked through the cracks in the garage ceiling, dripping onto my blanket in slow, mocking planks. I was sitting there, knees to my chest, when I heard it. A knock. Not on the garage door. On the front door. I froze. No one ever came to our house. Voices followed. Muffled at first, then sharper as my mother raised hers. "You need to leave." "I'm not leaving without her." Her. My heart slammed against my ribs. I moved closer to the door, pressing my ear against the cold metal. "I told you," my mother hissed, "you lost your rights years ago." "That's not true, and you know it." The man's voice was steady, but there was something beneath it, anger, restrained like a storm behind glass. "I have proof." Proof. My breath caught. "What proof?" she snapped. Papers rustled. I could almost hear them. DNA results. Court documents. "Yulit, Zava. You told me she died." Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. "You told me my daughter was dead," he repeated, his voice breaking just slightly. My legs gave out. I slid down against the door, my pulse roaring in my ears. "Daughter." "She's not your concern anymore," my mother said, but her voice wasn't sharp now. It was shaken. "She's been my concern every single day for 22 years, he shot back. "Where is she?" No. That one word was absolute. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was the years of silence finally cracking. Maybe it was that splinter inside me twisting too deep to ignore. I stood up. My hand hovered over the garage door handle. My mother's voice echoed in my head. "Don't come inside unless I tell you." For 22 years, I obeyed. That night, I didn't. The door screeched as I pulled it open. The sound sliced through the house like a scream. Both of them turned. My mother's face drained of color. The man. He looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. We just stared at each other. Rain pounded outside, thunder rolling like applause for the moment. "Reachel," he whispered. No one had ever said my name like that before. Like it mattered. My throat tightened. "Who are you?" His eyes filled with something raw. Pain. Relief. Love. Strange and overwhelming. "I'm your father." The word hit me harder than any slap. I looked at my mother. "Is that true?" She didn't answer. That was all the answer I needed. Everything inside me shifted. All those years of cold floors and closed doors suddenly had a shape. A reason. A lie. "You said he didn't want me," I said, my voice shaking. She looked away. "He didn't even know I was alive," I realized aloud. The man, my father, stepped forward slowly, like approaching a wounded animal. "I've been looking for you," he said. "She told me you died when you were a baby." I buried an empty coffin, Reachel. My chest cracked open at that. "I never stopped searching," he continued, holding out the papers with trembling hands. "When I finally found inconsistencies, I had the court reopen the case. The DNA test confirmed it. You're my daughter." I didn't take the papers. I didn't need to. I could see the truth in his face. And for the first time in my life, I turned fully toward my mother, not as a scared child, but as something else. Something colder. "You made me live in a garage," I said quietly. She swallowed. "It was complicated." "No," I snapped, my voice rising. "It was cruelty." Silence again. Then I laughed. It surprised all of us. Even me. It sounded hollow, sharp, like glass breaking. "You know what's funny?" I said, stepping closer. "I used to think I deserved it. That there was something wrong with me." Her lips parted, but no words came out. "But there isn't," I continued, my voice steady now. "There's something wrong with you." My father stood behind me, a silent presence. "I'm leaving," I said. Panic flashed across her face. "You can't." "I can," I cut her off. "And I am." I turned toward the door. "Reachel," she called, her voice cracking. "I'm still your mother." I paused. For a second, I almost looked back. Almost. Then I said, "No. You were just the woman who locked me away." And I walked out. The rain hit my skin like a baptism. But here's the part no one expects. That's not the end. Because revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's patient. 3 months later, my father and I filed a case. Neglect. Abuse. Fraud. Turns out while she was telling everyone I was mentally unstable and unable to live inside, she was collecting government benefits in my name. Money meant for my care. Money she spent on herself. On Daniel. On that warm, bright house I was never allowed to enter. The court didn't go easy on her. I testified. I described the garage. The cold. The hunger. The years. I watched her sit there, shrinking under the weight of truth, her polished image crumbling piece by piece. And when the verdict came, guilty, prison time, restitution, everything stripped away. But the real twist? It wasn't the sentence. It was what happened after. Daniel came to see me. He stood awkwardly at the door of my new apartment, eyes downcast. "I didn't know," he said. "I swear, Reachel, I didn't know it was that bad." I studied him for a long moment. The boy who had everything. The boy who never opened the garage door. And then I smiled. Not with anger. Not with bitterness. With something far more devastating. "I know," I said softly. "That's why you're going to spend the rest of your life knowing." I closed the door gently. Because in the end, the girl who slept in the garage didn't just escape. She took the truth with her. And that truth? It ruined everything they tried to build without her.